Good afternoon and welcome back to Universal Studios Hollywood. If you haven't already, drop a like on the video. Let's try to hit 100 likes right off the bat. Now today is actually a special day over here in the theme park. It's July 31st and you know what that means. Tomorrow is August 1st, which means we're like a month away from Horror Nights starting in the park. Halloween Horror Nights is such a special event to me and a lot of people that visit the theme park frequently. It's really the only time of year where we could see this wait time sign display haunted houses from some of our favorite Halloween movies. Not only that, but they transform the entire theme park to just have this spooky and eerie vibe to it, especially at night. Now, since it is August, we're going to be going crazy on updates. There's going to be so many Scare Zone updates, so many haunted house updates. This is where the YouTube channel reaches its peak, and we're going to have an incredible haunt season, and I hope you guys are ready for that. I'm just starting to get ready myself. Started listening to like Halloween music, some dubstep, just to get me all hyped up for the event. We're gonna have such a solid year. We have an incredible lineup, and Universal is gonna give us a great event this year. So they just announced all of the Scare Zone themes for this year's Horror Nights. This opening Scare Zone will be called Chainsaw Punkz with a Z at the end. Everyone that's holding a chainsaw will have skull masks with mohawks, and I think we could expect some like graffiti and like, I don't know, just very like punk details throughout this Scare Zone. Now so far they've announced 3 of the Scare Zones. They also announced another one that's going to be a little past the plaza here, so we're just going to walk through just to look at all the 60th anniversary stuff before it's gone. I really enjoy what they did here in the plaza, so I try to make it a first stop every time I walk into the park. All right, we're now walking up to our second Scare Zone that's been announced for this year, and that's Murder of the Crowz with a Z at the end. Historically, when they had haunted houses in this location, they never really received decorations or anything like that, just some gobo lighting. So I wouldn't expect any like crazy decorations going up for this. It might just be scare actors roaming around. But we have an additional stilt walker. Mother Crow will be joining Grandfather Crow, Edgar Allan Crow, and a bunch of the other crows. But it won't just be the stilt walkers. They'll have some scare actors roaming around as well with some very crowish attire. I think it's very important that they put a Scare Zone here. It just kind of connects all the Scare Zones together, and it makes the entire park overall look more Halloween-y. I feel like ambiance has been lacking throughout the years, especially since 2014. But now they're including ambiance once again. We'll see some fog machines in this area, I'm sure. I think it'd be cool if Universal set up like Scare Zones around the entire theme park to the point where there is like no safe zone. You're not comfortable anywhere because scare actors could be lurking around every corner. I think that's something they'll look into in the future for sure. And as we approach Front Street, this will be the Luchadores Scare Zone following the second Monstros haunted house. Now you can find that Scare Zone located right over here. I'm not expecting any crazy props to come with this one. They did say that they created more posters for this Luchadores Scare Zone. So I think we should expect the same like boxed up Scare Zone style decorations through the Scare Zone, and maybe some props here and there. Last year, they definitely went harder on decorations in this Scare Zone. We had those 12-foot tall skeletons through the entire thing. We had a lot of props, barrels, so many things to follow and immerse yourself into the haunted house. It seems like they are setting up those lighting rigs now, adjacent to Monstros 2. And it's kind of a rough time to cover Monstros because the sun is just blaring in our face here. But from yesterday, there hasn't been any changes to the facade. They're probably doing some finishing touches towards the bottom half of the haunt. I believe these walls will go down maybe towards the middle of this upcoming month. That's when we'll have the full reveal of the facade. Again, Murdy hasn't talked a lot about this haunted house. We don't know what the facade is going to be. I don't know what this is. It looks like a house. It could be a crypt. I'm not too sure. All I could say is it's definitely a step up from facades we've had in the past. Last year, they made it a point that they can build facades and do them very well. So no doubt that all the facades will shine this year. I just realized one thing about this Chainsaw Punkz scare zone. Historically, our chainsaw scare zones are usually around this area. So maybe the Punkz scare zone will be this half of it. And then the second half of that initial scare zone will be something else. Which means we might actually have 4 scare zones this year, not including Death Eaters if they do make a return. My question is, usually they accommodate each other, the 2 scare zones that are here. Like last year we had ghosts with toys, and it somewhat made sense. The costumes were very similar to each other. And then previously we had like Demon City, and I think the chainsaws were wearing like deer masks and like witchy looking things, and the main scare actors in this zone were wearing like devil masks and stuff like that. So if I had to take a guess, I think the scare zone will follow that more like graffiti punk-esque vibe. The one thing I'm curious about is if we're going to have an opening ceremony. I think ceremony is the wrong usage. We could call it like scare moment. I don't know what to call that. But every 45 minutes or so they would have a show right around this area, and it was very similar to an opening ceremony. Okay, now moving on to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So Universal Orlando Resort just announced their newest land for Epic Universe, and that is the Ministry of Magic. Now this new land will open with the theme park in 2025, and the main attraction would be called Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. And how this land will work, it takes place in 1920s Paris, like in the Fantastic Beasts films. You use the Flume network to teleport yourself into the Ministry of Magic. And this ride will take place after Voldemort is defeated. So Voldemort is gone. You're left with Death Eaters, and you're also left with Umbridge. And Umbridge is this very powerful character in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. This ride will be using an intense ride system, kind of similar to what we have on like Transformers, but more boxy. It's really hard to explain, but they did share some videos and some animations of how this ride will move. And they showed a video of one of the animatronics, and this is probably the most advanced animatronic, the most fluid animatronic I've ever seen in my life. It shows a Death Eater casting a spell, but the way it moves its arms and like all the features are just insane. It looks like a real person. I showed my dad today, and he's like, that's a person, that's not an animatronic. Obviously the new land will feature some new wands, as well as some new wand elements and new spells you could cast throughout the park. To say the least, I think this went from my least anticipated land for Epic Universe to number 2. But right now, here's the tier list for me. I mean, obviously on the top, it's Universal Monsters. That land is going to be insane. And number 2, obviously, being the Ministry of Magic. And then we have How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo World. Am I missing something here? And then I guess Celestial Park, which is not really a land, but it acts as the main hub in the middle of the park. And we actually have 2 rides inside of that hub. We have like a little carousel, and then they're also building the Star Racing attraction. That's gonna be great. As for us here in Hollywood, we don't have a whole lot of announcements, not to that scale, but we do have one huge groundbreaking attraction that's being built as we speak right now. And that's Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. We have a lot of good and bad days with this attraction. We have days where construction is moving really slow. We have days where it's moving very quick. And the most recent addition to this roller coaster has been the installation of that launch track, as well as the ride structure. We're only here yesterday, so not expecting a lot of changes since then. But yesterday they were working pretty heavily on that side of the project. They haven't filled in any footers quite yet on that side. There are a few towards the back half, and it's very difficult to see at this angle, but trust me, it's there. No supports or anything up like that on that side, but this is what we have for now. Here's a look at the Dead Exposure haunted house. Nothing too different from yesterday. Now, on the topic of Universal Orlando and expansion, I want to talk about the Mummy ride. And I know you guys hate when I bring this topic up, but I don't think the Mummy ride should stay after the roller coaster is constructed. I understand how this is the most intense ride in the theme park, but it's old. It's old. It's reaching, or I already hit 20 years old. I'm older than this ride. It's almost older than me. Yeah, this ride is showing its age. A lot of effects are broken on the ride or just disabled. I mean, if you've been riding the ride as long as I have, you've seen this ride change a lot. From the original ending to the mummies at the end of the exit. And even the animatronics throughout the ride. Visually, this ride is showing its age. And audio-wise, it's also showing its age. The audio is not consistent anymore. It's not timed. And a lot of the time, it doesn't even work. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Universal could just refurbish this ride, blah, blah, blah. But why would they do that when they can just build a completely new experience? It could fit a land. It could fit 2 roller coasters in it. This track is massive. I'm just saying, there's a lot more they could do with this space. And they can generate a lot more money with this space. And I think that's my little rant about the Mummy ride. I don't hate the ride, don't get me wrong. It's been here forever. And I think after this roller coaster pops up or spawns or just opens in general, I'm gonna stop using those words. But after that new roller coaster opens up, there's no need for a 30-second roller coaster to be here in the park. And I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want you guys to go all Kendrick on me in the comments. Now let's talk about the No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say anything about the Transformers ride. I actually kind of like that ride. Now let's talk about No, this just opened a year ago. But I think it is worth mentioning, technology is advancing like that. We have a ride that features augmented reality, which is, I mean, pretty technologically advanced. But they are doing so much with technology now that I feel like in 4, 5, 6 years, this technology is going to be so mainstream and so overused that we're not going to like it as much as we do now. Now, I wasn't expecting this big of a success for Super Nintendo World, especially here in Hollywood where we have one less attraction, but right now we're looking at a 90-minute wait time for Bowser's Challenge, which is crazy. I mean, that's solid. No doubt this is bringing in a lot of crowds into the park, but I don't know how the reception is. Like, do people enjoy this land? Do they not? Now, outside of everything I just talked about in terms of what they should remove and keep, there's only one ride in the park that I dislike, and that's with good reason. You replace my favorite ride, Terminator 2 3D show ride, whatever you want to call it, and that's Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. Now, I'm not saying they should remove it right now, but did you know there's going to be not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, unfortunately. There's going to be 5 Despicable Me rides in this world. They are currently building the 5th Despicable Me Minion Mayhem on this planet. I never thought I would say this. In Singapore. I mean, 2 Despicable Me rides is redundant. But try 5. Okay. Well, it's not all that bad. They are adding the same attraction, but they are changing 2 of the rides. Super Silly Swirlers, instead of being a spinning ride that's attached to, like, it's like a Dumbo ride. Instead of it being like that, it'll be like Flynn's Flyers from Bugs Land, where it's kind of like in a balloon flying around. But I will say, my face changed as soon as I saw the announcement for Super Silly, or not even Super Silly, Minion Land, because it's a lot bigger than just Super Silly Fun Land. I was like so excited about the Ministry of Magic, all this stuff. And then I saw the announcement for Minion Land. My smile dropped and I quite literally said, "What the Sigma?" And I don't think I've ever said that in my life. It feels really weird to say out loud. Anyways, I'm gonna watch Waterworld. I haven't seen Waterworld in a little bit, so let's go ahead and do that. I totally forgot about the Purge show last year during Horror Nights. Man, I love that show. They gotta bring it back this year. I think it also helped a lot with the crowds.
You know that ball would have gone even further had that kid not distracted me? Never mind. might actually meet these people. Here, bag this. The Mariner. You mean the half-man, half-fish boyfriend of yours, the one that poked out my eye.
You talking about the fishy? Ooh, fishy.
Bring me the girl. Boys, I want him dead. Shoot him! Fish boy, stand in one spot!
Great show as always. We'll talk about live entertainment in the park in a future video. I know I have a lot to say about it, but I don't want to make this video go on for like an hour. Okay, I gotta do this quick because it's starting to melt, but we're trying the butterbeer ice cream soft serve once again. Now I had this over a month ago when it first came out and I wasn't a fan. It didn't taste like butterbeer soft serve from Orlando. It tasted very vanilla-y with a very light hint of butterbeer. All right, let's go for it. All right, there's a helicopter flying over, so it's a little loud out here, but let's go for it. Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah, this is way better. It's a lot more rich. It actually tastes like butterbeer. It still has that light hint of vanilla, but the butterbeer flavor overpowers it now, which is a lot better. I think I like this. And I think I need to go back to Florida to try their butterbeer soft serve once again, see if it tastes like this. But this tastes pretty darn good. Just kind of walking around the park at this point. I rode Jurassic, kind of a all of my days here are solo days at this point. But just trying to relax and like enjoy the park because I feel like I don't really get to do that, and since the park is open later, that really like motivates me to stay longer and like try new things. We tried the butterbeer ice cream again today. I want to try a food item, something I haven't tried before. It's also getting a little too dark to wear the sunglasses, so we're gonna take that off. You know what I might do instead is head over to Cletus's Chicken Shack. I think that's the one place I never really had food at. As they get closer to selling out of donuts, the line gets bigger and bigger, and sometimes this wraps around all of Springfield. My luck is insane. I missed it by 2 minutes. Literally 2 minutes. Oh, why do they do it? Why do they do that? Why do they close the food location 2 hours before the park closes? A lot of people waiting for the nighttime lights at Hogwarts Castle. I haven't seen it at all this year, and I think it's running till the 11th of August. Don't quote me on those dates, I might be wrong. Okay, I guess we'll try to have something new at Three Broomsticks. I've basically had everything on the menu, especially the platter for four, the Great Feast. That's one thing I do every single year for my birthday. I come here with my family and we order the Great Feast. Here's what that looks like. And it usually comes with a salad, a huge plate of salad, but now you have to pay for that per person, and it's like $4.99 per person for that big plate of salad. I don't know if I like that. I think the set price was okay, but I think it is nice because if you aren't having the salad, you don't have to really pay for it, which overall makes the entire plate cheaper. Okay, I absolutely love when my spot is empty. This is my spot, by the way, guys. Like, I claimed this table. I went for something smaller and rather inexpensive. I got the kids' chicken tenders. These used to be $7.32 with my discount. Now they're $8.84. The actual price is $9.49 with tax, obviously. But this is my favorite food item to go for. Okay, and I think that wraps up today's video. And I've never ended a video here, believe it or not. Never, well, once in the plaza, but never like approaching the plaza. So this is weird. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and my like solo trip / update / Hornets talk rant, whatever you want to call it. I'm JP, and how they say in the movies, that's a wrap. I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, very random, Scuba George walked up to me and he's like, good to see you again. And I think I've only met that Scuba George like one time. That was really cool. That was really cool. I love when characters come up to me and like recognize me and stuff. It's so fun.